stop the whole thing. Alright, so again, we're going to be doing the store key, and you do have to hit Control and then hit this key, and it'll pop up what we need. So these are the steps right here. If you look on your handouts, they do have the steps. So look at the first step. It says use the calculator app. So that's step 1. Step 2, it says store the variables with different values. So this is how you type it in. Like the bold part is how you type it in. So if I were you, I'd highlight this part right here. Because you would type in the number, you would hit Control VARS, which is short for variable, and then type in the variable. Like if it's an X, you would type in an X. Now, step 3 says use different numbers for each variable. So like let's say the problem has an X, Y, and a Z. Then you could say, okay, let's put a 3 for the X, let's put a 5 for the Y, and let's put a 7 for the Z. Like they're telling you that these are good numbers to use. Do not use 0. 0 is not a good number to use. Do not use 1 or 2. So the teachers that have used this in the past, the best numbers to choose are 3, 5, 7, 9, etc. So after storing each variable, then enter the expression into the calculator, and then it'll give you a value. Okay, so right now I'm just kind of walking you through the steps. I'll show you in a minute. I'll model it for you so you understand. And then step 5 says enter each answer choice, and the value of one of your answer choices should match the value of the expression. So it's kind of like when we do graph and match. You know how we'll graph the problem and then we graph each answer and we find the matching picture? It's kind of what you're doing here. You're going to enter the problem, find the value for it, and then enter the answers, find the values for them, and see which one matches. Because now sometimes one will match and you got lucky. Sometimes 2 of them will match. But at least you've narrowed it down to 50-50. And now you can try something else, like try graphing it at that point. But let me go ahead and walk you through the first example. So you guys should have this page right here that has this is your first example. So let's try it. So first of all, we would want to read the problem and circle the keywords. So it says, which algebraic expression is equivalent to, and then they give you the expression. So what are the keywords that you're noticing?
Equivalent.
Equivalent, and what else? Expression. So when you see those, you need to, in your mind, say, okay, I see expression equivalent, let me try the store option. And so that would be the first thing I'd want you to try. Now if it doesn't work, then you try graphing it. Try other options. But at least look for those keywords. Now equivalent means equal. Look at the word equivalent. It even has the word equal in it. Look, E-Q-U-A-L. That's how you spell equal. So the word equivalent actually has the word equal in it. So it means which one is equal to this one. So what we're going to do is we're going to use the store key. So write it down. This is going to be your strategy. You're going to use the store option. So we're going to use the store key. Now, how are we going to type this in? Well, we need to pick a number to replace the variable. So how many variables do we have in this expression? How many variables are there? Actually, there's only one. It's the same variable 3 times, but how many actual variables do we have? Only one. We need to store. In other words, we need to let the calculator know that we want to plug in a 3 for the x's. So this is how it works. You're going to type in 3. You type the number first. And again, you can go back to the handout that you guys glued down. Look, they're right here. You type in the number, so we put 3. Now we do Control var. So like on your handout right now, what you can do is type in 3, comma, Control, write down your steps so you know for the next one, VAR. And then tell it what letter you're going to choose. So which letter do we want to store the 3 in? X. And then you have to press Enter. So in your calculator, this is how you're going to enter it. Okay, those are the steps. So let's try it. First of all, which app are we using? First one, right? The calculator app. So click on that. when you have tabs open, it's very important you clear them out, because if you start storing a bunch of stuff in there, it's going to start getting confusing, giving you messages that there's an error. So let's hit Control N, and let's clear it out first, before we even begin. Okay? So this is how you type it, the way you wrote it down. 3, you type in the number, hit Control Store, or Control Vars, and then hit X, and press Enter. So now the calculator knows you want to plug in a 3 for the X. Whenever it sees an X, it's going to plug in that number. So now let's type the problem, okay? So this is a problem right here that I want you to type in exactly the way you see it. So let's type in 3x, parentheses, and then it's x squared plus 2. So x squared plus 2. And then I have what? Plus 2 parentheses x minus 1. So plus 2 parentheses x plus 1. Okay, everything right?
Yeah.
So when you press enter, what happened? It says invalid, implied multiply. Don't panic. Last time I did this, I was like, oh my gosh, what did I do wrong? We didn't do anything wrong. What happened was the calculator, it does not understand that right here you should multiply 3x times x squared and 3x times 2. So all you got to do to fix that is go over here, put your cursor right there, and tell it to multiply it. It doesn't know, it didn't understand that part. And do the same thing here. You know how when we have parentheses, we always multiply, like we do distributive, 2 times x, 2 times 1? Okay, the calculator needs to know, put a multiplication there. Now press enter. Did it work this time? Did it give you a value? Yes. So it plugged in a 3. It did the math. It did 3 times 3 times 3 squared plus 2 plus 2 times 3 plus 1. Like it plugged in a 3 where those x's were, and this is what it's giving you. So it's doing the substituting for you. Instead of you plugging in the 3 yourself, it's actually just plugging in the 3 for you. So now what you can do is write that down. Like go to your problem and say, okay, this expression equals 107. So let's write it down. 107. So now all we got to do is try each answer to see which one gives us 107, and that will be the equivalent expression. Now, when you find an answer, please don't stop there. You need to continue, because remember, sometimes you have more than one. Okay. So let's say that you do A and it gives you 107, and then you get to C and it gives you 107. Well, at least we've narrowed it down to 2 answers. And now you have a 50-50 chance of working it out, like getting the right answer. So let's try it. Let's go ahead and type in this answer. And again, you just need to type it in. So 3x raised to the 3rd power. Oops, I didn't raise it to the 3rd power. Right here's the raised key. I used the wrong key. I used the square key. I'm so used to that one. Raised, right here. The little arrow, up arrow is your raised key to the 3rd power. Now notice your cursor's up here where the power is. You need to move forward to get out of that. You don't want to put everything up here in the power. So what's next? Plus 2x plus 8. So plus 2x plus 8. So it's going to plug in those 3's that we told it to plug in, and what does it give us? 95. Does that match 107? No. So you can put here equal 95, but you can eliminate 8, like mark it out. It is not going to be 8. No way. So now let's try B. Same thing. Just type it in. 3x squared plus 2x plus 8. Press enter. What value do you get? 41. Is it 107? No, this is what we want to match. So eliminate B. So then we try C. That's the answer. Okay, some of you already are ahead of me. So 3x to the 3rd. And then plus 8x plus 2. So plus 8x plus 2. Press enter, 107. Now, it's possible that another one is 107. So before you say that's the answer, you better try all of them. Because we've already come across some problems where the answer was there twice. And we're like, oh man, okay, now we got to figure out which one it is between these two. So we tried other strategies and we figured it out. So let's try D before we decide that that is the correct answer. Sometimes you get lucky and only one of them gives you that same number. So this one is what, +2? Okay, so see, we left out. This one actually only had one of them that gave us 107, so there's your answer right there. Eliminate D, the answer is C. They have the exact same, in other words, they're equivalent. We plugged in a 3 for the x's, and we realized, look, this would give us the same answer. So they are equivalent expressions. They're equal. So type it in, match it, basically. You store and match. Let's look at question number 2. Give me a second here. Okay, so let's look at question number 2. Now on your benchmark, you had one like this. And a lot of you got it wrong because, again, we hadn't covered any of the store things. And if you would have known, then you would have been able to get this one right. Because it's really, when you use a store key, it becomes a very simple problem. Because you just got to, find which one are equivalent. So again, look at the keyword. Which expression is equivalent? So you're trying to find the ones that will be equal to each other. Equivalent, again, means equal. Look at the word equivalent, equal. So what we can do is store some values for those variables. So how many variables do we have?
2, 3.
I see an X. I see a Y a couple of times there, and I see a Z. So we need to pick 3 numbers that we can use to substitute for the X, Y, and Z. Well, they told you the ones to choose. What should we start with? 3. And then how about the Y? 5. And Z? 7. If you add another one, then use a 9, etc., etc. They're odd numbers, right? 3, 5, 7, 9, 11, 13, whatever. Like, just keep going.
I don't get it.
Okay.
How do you get 3, 5, 7?
If you look at your handout that we talked about at the very beginning, it says use different numbers for each variable, start with, and they told us what to choose from. Right there. And it's because teachers who have done this in the past, they've tried different numbers. Like they tried 0 and 1 and it didn't work out. Sometimes the answers were wrong. So you don't want to go with 0, 1, or 2. The best choices is start with 3 and go from there and use odd numbers. Does that make sense? So you're just going to have to memorize that, like start with 3. So let's go ahead and store. Like I said, we're going to store, go back to that page, we're going to store 3 for the X, 5 for the Y, 7 for the Z. So let's type it in, and the calculator right here. What should we do first? Control N. Stephanie, please put your feet down. Alright, and then go back to the calculator. So, we're going to store 3. So put 3. And then you need to pull up the little store. So Control var pulls up that little store arrow, and then tell it you're going to store it for X. And press enter. Number, Control var, letter. 5, let's do 5 next. We're going to store it for Y. So Control store, and then Y. Enter. Let's use 7. Please do this with me. I see some of you not doing this. I'm here trying to help you. You need to help yourself, though, at some point. Paul, where's your calculator? Okay. So 7, and then Control store, and plug it in for Z. So in other words, you're just letting the calculator know, okay, I want a 3 for the X, I want a 5 for the Y, and I want a 7 for the Z. That's it. Nothing fancy. So now, let's type in the problem and see what we get. So the problem is this one. Now, how do we pull up a fraction? Control divide. So now let's type in what's on the top, type in what's on the bottom. Let's see if it works without putting multiplication signs. Like, let's just type it and see what happens. No, it's going to do it for you. That's why you're doing the store options, because it will do all of that for you. You just need to type it in. So 2x to the 4th, and then y to the negative 4th. And then Z, you have a question?
Always do that like that.
Control divide, the fraction is control divide. If you look right behind the division symbol, there's a little fraction looking thing, like a little box over a box. What is this z, guys? Z, the negative third? Oops, I didn't erase it. Be careful how you type it in. Sometimes you'll end up like typing everything in and realize you made a mistake. So be very careful when you're typing it in. On the bottom, it should say 3x squared. And then it's what? Y to the negative third, c to the fourth. Z to the negative fourth. Alright, so when you press enter, did it work?
Yeah.
I didn't get that last period, so I did something wrong. Let me check. And it should be positive? Okay, I wonder if it'll let me change that.
What are those little dots?
They're multiplication signs. That's a way to represent multiplication. So I'll have to retype it in. What did you guys get? Yeah, that's what I got last period. Okay, so I just did it wrong. I typed in a negative there. Let me try it one more time, guys. Sorry about that. I mean, and this happens to you guys too, so it's good we come across errors like this and you know, okay, look, you got to be careful how we type it in. I was trying to go as slow as I could, but I still messed up. And notice it did put those little dots in there because it knows to multiply. It does not always know, and sometimes you have to go back and tell it. So let's see if it works this time. Is that what y'all got? 6 over, what is that? 4,117,715. So all you would need to do is write that down. That's what this equals to. So write it down because that's your target. Like that's what we're going to look for whenever we're doing the answers. So this is our target. This is our goal. This is what we need to match. And so now we got to try each one of these until we find one that matches because that would be the equivalent. Okay? So let's try A, B, C, and D. And remember, you need to try all of them. What was your question, Omar?
I didn't get that. I think I did this.
Go back and check. Like what I did wrong is I put a negative here instead of positive. So you just need to double check, see how you typed it in. So I'm going to type in the first one, see if that gives me that number. If not, then I'll try the next one. So we try A. Nope, I get 30. So you write it down, say, okay, this gave me 30, this isn't going to work, it's supposed to match, it does not match. So then you try B, see if that one matches. And again, this is a calculator strategy that we're showing you because some of you will guess. You'll come across something like this and you just want to take a guess right away. No, we're trying to give you options, like what could you try? I've already shown you that you could graph things. I've shown you you could do menu 31, menu 32. Well, this is just another option that you can try. It does not hurt to try. Is it B? Is that what you all got for B? 18.5, 22 over 5? Okay, so that's not going to work. That's not the right thing. We want it to match this one. That's our target number. So eliminate B. And then go try C. So let's try C next. Again, control divide. It takes time, it does, but it could be the one question you get right that helps you pass or get commended. Like every question counts. Okay, so this one, when you got to C, it's saying that variables not defined, no values assigned. Yes, look at it's right there. You can tell it knew to multiply these two. 2 times x squared, look at the little dot. It knew to multiply 3 times the y, but it didn't know what to do with the z. So all you're going to have to do is put a time sign right here between Y and Z and you'll be fine. So it does work. Don't panic when you get messages like that. Just go back and see if you can retype it with that multiplication in there. So it knew already, it put that little dot there for you. So it knew what to do on the top. It's when you got right here, there's no little dot here, so it didn't know what to do. So watch, I'm going to put a multiplication sign right there between the Y and the Z, and it's going to work. So don't ever panic and get frustrated, just go back and see if you need to put the multiplication sign. Did we get our answer?
Yes.
Was there another one, though, that gave us the same number? What did y'all get for D?
I got huge number over 63.
But it wasn't the right one?
No.
Okay. So then, yeah, we can safely say it's D then. My D cut off here, what was it?
The huge number, man.
Just call out the number. 350?
No, 745. Wait, yeah. It was 7450
7450.
80596.
Okay, that's three numbers, all right. It's not D. A period is not D. What? Oh, you got something else? What'd you get?
I got 1,250 over 9.
Oh, but it's still not this number, right? All right. So we can safely say it's that, okay? But again, this is just another strategy, guys. It's another option for you. So I do want to give you a handout that's going to have some problems you can practice. What we're starting to do, and I want you to look at this handout on the screen. We're going to start building the problems up. In other words, we covered this today, and we want you to be able to go, okay, look at the keyword, simplify, expression, okay, I'm going to use STOAR for that one. But then look at number 2. Yesterday, we talked about menu 31 and 32. Well, look at number 2. Number 2 is like yesterday's problem, where it says, what is the solution to the equation? And so you have this one equation. So what would you do to solve this one? Because you would not use STOAR. Menu 31, one equation, you've got one variable, and so you would want to use menu 3-1. So we're going to start throwing in problems from the day before because a lot of you tend to forget. We do everything separately, and then when it's time to test, you're like, wait, I don't even remember menu 31, 32 anymore. So every day I'm going to give you a problem with menu 31, 32. Now they didn't put domain and range, but on the next one we'll throw in domain and range also. Now let's look at another one. I want you to look at number 3. What would you do for 3? So simplify expression, what are you going to do? Are you going to use menu 31, 32, or STOAR? Does it have an equal sign in it? Then it's not menu 31 or 32, it is STOAR. It's an expression. If you go back to your handout in your booklet, the keywords are simplify, expression, equivalent. So look, simplify, expression. You're going to use the STOAR for this one. Now let's look at number 6. It says, what is the value of y in the solution to the system of equations below? Menu 32. It has the keywords were value of y, because we need to know which letter they're talking about. Solution, if you go back to your booklet and look at the keywords, solution was one of them, and system is a big one. Because in the calculator, under menu 32, it calls it system. Watch. When I go to menu 32, it has the word system in there. So the keyword in the problem is actually the keyword in the calculator. So you need to just look for it. Okay, so it says right there, system, menu 32, and then you type it in. So we need for you to start doing that. Like every day we're going to build up the problem so that way you're not forgetting the day before and the day before that and so forth. By the time you know it, it's going to be second nature. You're going to be able to go, okay, that one's menu 31, that's menu 32, that one is STOAR, that one is this, graph. And remember, graphing is always an option. If all else fails, when in doubt, graph it out. Okay? Any questions? All right, so I'm going to go ahead and give you the assignment, and I need for you to work on it, do as much as you can. What time we have? We have about maybe, I don't know, a good 10 minutes or so, right? 12. So you can at least get maybe 1 through 4 done, 1 through 5, that'd be awesome, because all you're doing is literally just typing it in. See?